Bambu Labs is about to drop their new P2S, and I am super excited for what's to come. In this video, I want to go over all of the possible upgrades and specs that we might see in this new drop. There's a couple leaked images I'm going to go through today. I'm going to go through the Bambu teaser image as well. And we're just going to talk about this new printer. Let's get right into it. So this is the official Bambu teaser image, and it's super basic and does not give us really any information on the P2S. It's just showing the old screen, it's showing the old printer, it looks like, and just giving us a date, right? So not much to go off of with this image, but this next one I think is much more exciting. In this image, we see, supposedly, we see a like tarped P2S. And I don't know about you guys, but it looks a lot like an X1 Carbon to me, which tells me that the P2S could be getting a touchscreen upgrade. I'm super excited for that because the screens that are on the P1Ss, that's gotta be its worst feature. And if they upgrade the touchscreen for the P1S, or for the P2S, I guess you could say, the gap between the X1 Carbon and the P2S or P1S or P series printers, I think that gap really narrows. So it's kind of an interesting choice of upgrade. Now, based on this image, once again, it looks like it's going to be the X1 Carbon screen. You know, I thought they were going to do the A series screen to try and maintain that separation between the different lines of printers. But based on this image, it looks like an X1 Carbon screen. Now, I will say it's kind of sketchy about this image. If you follow this edge kind of all the way over here and then follow this edge up, you can see that it seems like this should continue up a little bit and then come over. So I'm skeptical of this image, but I do have some images that support this idea, and let's go into those now. So this image here on Reddit, you can clearly see it says P2S right there in writing. And once again, it's got that X1 Carbon touchscreen. So at this point, I think we can for sure expect a touchscreen. I think that that's likely to come. I really hope Bambu doesn't drop the ball on that, but it seems like it's going to be the X1 Carbon touchscreen. And then moving on to the next upgrade that's possible, from Rob here on Reddit, shout out to Rob. He says he didn't get to physically touch the machine, but he saw it without the front cover, meaning the cover of the tool head. And he's saying that it wears an A1 style sock. And then he's talking about how there's only one screw above the heatsink, which kind of confirms that idea that it could have A1 nozzles or an A1 hot end. So that's the other biggest rumor, is that there's going to be A1 nozzles and that hot swappable capability on the new P2S, which I think is super awesome, right? I think who doesn't like a hot swappable system? Anytime I want to change a nozzle on my P1Ss or on my X1 Carbon, you have to remove those two screws, take the whole thing apart. It's just kind of a pain, right? Unplug it. Nobody likes doing that. So I think hot swappable nozzles could be really, really awesome. And then once again, we have another image. This one is showing us an X1 Carbon screen again. So I think that that's really interesting. Now, I do want to talk about the possibility of the P2S getting not only the A series hot ends, right, and nozzles, but the A series tool head or the H series tool head, something along those lines, right? Something that's similar to that tool head style. This image is kind of telling us that that's not going to happen. And that's why I really don't want to believe this one, because it makes me sad to think that this is what's going to happen. Now, if the P2S does get an A series or H series tool head, I think that also means that they would add the linear rail, because otherwise they'd have to redesign that tool head too much to accept a different rail system, motion system. And so this image is basically saying, no, you're only going to get the A series hot swappable nozzles. You're not going to get the tool head, and you're not going to get a linear rail. What's interesting though is we do see a linear rod. We see a steel linear rod instead of carbon rods. And I want to know what you guys think about that. Do you think that that's actually an upgrade? I don't know how I feel about that. I have thousands of hours on my P series printers and another couple thousand on my X1 carbon, and the carbon rods have worked perfectly fine for me over the period that I've owned them. So I don't know why they would go with steel unless it's lower cost for them, because it's gonna increase the weight of that tool head, right, or of the assembly as it moves around inside of the printer. So I almost see that as a downgrade. So I kind of hope they don't go rod. I hope they go rail instead with that A series tool head. And then here's one more image, kind of that side like isometric view. And from here we can see this camera right here. So that's another upgrade that could be coming, is a new 1080p camera like the X1C. And then what doesn't show here, but could also come and should come, is better lighting. So I think that Bambu will improve the lighting of the P2S so that if there is a better camera, or even the same camera, if there's a better camera in the system, you'll actually be able to use it and get, you know, full functionality out of it when using Bambu Studio, because that lighting will brighten up the image so you can actually see everything inside of the chamber. There's not much else to really gather from this. It looks like an X1 carbon just with P2S written on it. I do think they'll also upgrade the nozzle wiper. I'm not sure if I already mentioned that. The nozzle wiper will likely be the same as the H series printers, or even as the A series printers, which I think is also an added bonus, because the current ones do nothing. Let's be honest. They kind of suck. They're hit and miss for me. And you can upgrade them currently, but it'd be nice to just get a stock nozzle wiper that actually works. Now, what do I actually think is going to come? I think for sure we're getting touchscreen. We're going to get the A1 hot swappable nozzles. I think we're going to get the nozzle wiper upgrade. I think we'll likely get a better camera, and we'll get better lighting. Those are the 5 things I think are very likely to come with the P2S. What's possible and what I'm not so sure about, what I'm hoping for, but is more unlikely, is that full A1 toolhead and rail upgrade. And then also, what I haven't mentioned yet, the belt pitch, right? I think if they take the belts from the H series printers and put that on the P2S with that finer pitch, we could get much better print quality. Maybe not much better, but, you know, marginally better print quality. And I think that'd be a really awesome upgrade as well. Let me know what you guys think about that. Now, I'm seeing people say that they're going to discontinue the X lineup, the X series printers. Do I think that that's going to happen? I think it really depends on what the P2S offers. I think if they go full, like if they really upgrade it and they give me everything I want, right, which is all the things I listed, what can really separate the P series printers at that point from the X series printers? They could add a chamber heater. They could add more cameras like the H2D, maybe a nozzle camera. And then, you know, what could be the differentiator, right, is maybe the X2C gets the full A1 H series toolhead and linear rail, and the P1S stays behind with the carbon rods or with the steel rods like we saw in these images. Maybe that's what keeps them separated. Let me know your thoughts below. Before I wrap up the video, I want to talk about price. I personally think that because of the price of the H2S currently, which is $12.49 in the United States, I think because of that price, I think the P2S will land at $6.99, which I believe is the previous high price for the P1S, or maybe the P1S was $7.99 at some point. I actually can't remember now, but I think they'll likely land at $6.99, or like $6.99, $7.99. And then I think if they do redo the X1 carbon, right, I think that the H2C will land at $9.99. And this is printer only, okay? This is not the combo. I say that because the X1 carbon is available for $7.99 right now. Yeah, so the X1 carbon is currently going for $7.99 printer only. And then with the AMS2 Pro, it's going for $11.19. And then you can see the regular AMS, man, they really don't want you guys buying the regular AMS anymore, is going for that $12.49 number. But $7.99 printer only. And then if we compare that to the H2S is going for $12.49 printer only. And guys, let me tell you, that's what I bought my X1 carbon for, you know, however many years ago now, I don't remember. That's what I paid for my X1 Carbon. I paid like $1,500 for my X1 Carbon and AMS combo years ago. So to get the H2S, to get this beautiful large format printer with the ability to put a laser on it and to put a cutter on it, like to get that out of a printer for that price is so cool. It's so nice to see the market heading in that direction where you get a cheaper printer or you get more tech for less cost, right? But yeah, that's what I think is likely to come from the new P2S launch. And I'm super excited. I think I'm gonna get my hands on one of these to show you guys what the upgrade, what difference the upgrades make, right? If any at all. And I'm really curious what you guys think about it. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Let me know what you think is gonna come with this new P2S upgrade. Just, you know, we're hours before the launch, right? So let's get hyped. Let's get excited together in the comments below. Also, I'm giving away my Centauri Carbon. If you guys want a chance to win a free printer, go and check out this video. It's going to be somewhere. I'm going to put it somewhere. Check out that video, leave a comment, like, subscribe, and you will have a chance to win that Centauri Carbon. I'm giving it away at 2,500 subs, and I'm super close. I think I only have like 350 subs left to go. So it's coming soon, guys. All right. This has been Sam with MuxlowMakes. Thank you so much for watching.